What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So you saw the title. We're talking about some 90s heat, some stuff that's still rockable today and just gets the job done. Some more than others. This is going to be ranked. Now, I do have to tell you, this does exclude all Air Jordan models. You're not going to see any J's in this video because that's just not fair.
What?
All the J's from the 90s are rockable and timeless. That's its own video that we might do at some point.
Okay!
But for now, we're talking about some heat that dropped throughout the 90s from 90 to 99 that's still rockable, still really hits for people with different outfits casually and so on to this day. Let's get into the first one. Let's kick it. Coming in at number 10, we have one that's super nostalgic for you 90s kids such as myself. I was born in 85, which means I was a kid in the 90s, the best era. And if you were around in the mid 90s, you remember all about the Fila 96. The Grant Hills. Here I have these in a white and hot pink. So what's special about the Grant Hills? The iconic styling that to this day, they're dropping all kinds of colors. This is a modern color. The original colors were more USA inspired, navy, red, white, different ones. Fila really hit the scene with Grant Hill for a signature shoe. You have the Fila Spaghetti, the Stack Houses, and so on. But the main shoe, probably the most iconic shoe to date for Fila, is the Fila 96, the Grant Hill 2, I believe. And then on the other side here, still has that Fila pressed into the leather instead of having the pink. So not the color choice everybody would go for, but here you have decent materials. It does seem to be a decent split grain leather tumbled throughout. Very bulky 90s color blocking, bulky shoe. Hefty rubber, great outdoor basketball shoe. It's got an injected EVA foam. Feels more like an EVA than anything polyurethane. You have a strap around the back that's more aesthetic than anything else. It is functional. You can pull the heel together more because it doesn't have much for a heel counter. There is a heel counter in there. The rubber does come up to provide some stability for the heel. I think this is overkill. It's more of a design cue than anything else. You have a little bit of 3M in the pull tab. They do run true to size. Even though they're a little on the bulky side, here you see I have a size 9. They fit me very well. And even though there's mesh in the tongue, these are a 90s shoe. There's nothing breathable about these. They go well with jeans, joggers, certain shorts. It all depends on your personal style and swagger. Not a lot of younger kids are going to be looking at sneakers like this. This is more old heads such as myself that'll appreciate stuff like this. Low on the list. This is more of a nostalgia pick for me, but at number 10 we got the Fila 96. Coming at number 9, speaking of bulky, it's the biggest and the bulkiest shoe on this list. I actually got them in a 9.5, a little bit bigger than I typically wear. I actually found these at a Burlington, as did I find the Fila 96. I found these for $40. There's actually a shorts video from a while back on this channel from when I did so, but this man is outstanding. Arguably one of the greatest businessmen in the history of sports. We're talking about Shaq. It's the original Reebok Shaq Attaq. So here we have the original Orlando colorway with kind of that satin blue color. Carbon fiber, big carbon fiber shank plate for stability. Hefty EVA foam. It's just straight up foam. With this synthetic leather, it doesn't feel that premium. The polyurethane coating here does give it kind of a stiffness to it. They don't crease super easy. They'll bubble a little bit, but nothing crazy. And then you have kind of this Durabuck with some pattern on it that's kind of heat pressed into it. For this black overlay, you have a little bit of some suede, which I believe to be on this. It looks like real suede, just a thin piece cut. Shaq's logo here on the back. You got Shaq right here. And of course, the pump is still functional. You can pump the tongue up, and then the bleeder is right here to bleed the air. All it does is pump the tongue up. It doesn't actually do anything underfoot. All it does is kind of secure your foot into the footbed a little bit more. But these are super, super bulky. They do look pretty cool with jeans. I think they're even better with joggers because the cuff can go into here, because have the slimmer, streamlined look going into the super bulky 90s shoe, because that's what's kind of the kicker to a 90s shoe, is they're so bulky. And the Shaq Attaq being one of the bulkiest of all time. This is more like high top 80s, early 90s, more so than mid 90s. I mean, really, it did come out like 92, 93, so it was of the time frame. And look, I still think they work. Not for everybody, but if you want that true early 90s aesthetic, the bright colors, the big loud stuff, including the big bulky shoe, Might be none better than the Shaq Attaq. This one goes hard. They still re-release this one consistently. This is an iconic 90s silhouette from Nike that I think will never get old. It's probably the most timeless 90s trainer you can think of, because Bo knows a lot of things, and one thing Bo definitely knows is sneakers. We're talking about the Nike SC1 Trainer High. This is the Kansas City Royals colorway. So here we take a look at the bottom, that iconic, you can see these are worn. I wear these bad boys, that iconic 90s Nike trainer outsole. As we move up, we've got synthetic leathers, smooth and perforated and tumbled, different overlay panels, different textures, perforated throughout, but they are not breathable. That I can assure you of. Have these nylon straps that go into the lacing system, so if you tie them down tight, it'll hug you into the footbed. Of course, I rock them nice and loose in that very 90s nylon tongue style. I mean, the laces block a lot of this, so you can't really see it, but no breathability whatsoever, but a very cozy fit as long as you don't mind your feet being hot. Nike Air, made in Vietnam. You have the visible air sole in the rear. I believe there's an encapsulated air sole in the forefoot. I don't remember. You can't feel it. It's a dense polyurethane midsole. Nice and cushy, padded collar throughout. Then you have the Nike branding in the rear. Like I said, you can see that a little beat up. I definitely rock these bad boys on occasion. Has the Nike Air in the insole. These are a size 9. The insole's not coming out. The glue is cured to it. And the interesting, obscure Kansas City Royals colorway, which from retailers still goes in like the $140 price range. I recently saw them. I paid $30 at Ross Dress for Less for these when I lived in Colorado. Yeah, this was a hell of a rack store find. You never know what you'll find at the rack stores. I got some freaking Bo Jackson trainers in a Royals colorway, a limited recent release for 30 bucks. I mean, hard to beat. I've had them for a few years now. I definitely enjoy rocking them. Baby blue, kind of my thing. Very much a UNC type of colorway still, but based around his time with the Kansas City Royals. When you think Bo Jackson, you think Raiders, you think Royals. How can you not? So yeah, very iconic. They have low tops. They have multiple colors of the high tops. They still go hard to this day. They look great with jeans. The SC Trainer 1 High. Nothing screams 90s a lot more than these, I think. They've had a free run version that's come out. They constantly re-release these. This is the running version. They have a basketball version that recently retroed and re-released. We're talking about the Nike Air Huarachi. So on the bottom, these are actually relatively new. I've only worn these once. That's why they're not filthy yet. But I've had the free run ones in green and yellow in the past. But these have the bright crimson, bright mango colorway. Very vivid, loud color. These are a Run NYC colorway. That's why you have NYC on the laces, and they have a special insole as well. So for a specific marathon over there, love the Air Huarachi panel with the bright crimson. I love the bright colors. Some synthetic leather overlays that are quite soft and kind of work with all of this nylon throughout. These are not breathable, but the way the foam is, they're actually very cushy and bouncy. You have an air sole encapsulated in here. They are quite comfortable and flexible. You can still run in these. They have that synthetic strap that comes around that kind of hugs the foot as you've, because this nylon sock liner booty design will stretch to your foot. They're a little snug to get your foot into, but then you'll compress, like it'll press right up against it and really house and control your foot and keep it where it needs to be on the footbed. You can actually rock these unlaced if you get your true size. They are a little snug though, so keep that in mind, but these look great with shorts. This is a great summertime shoe. Even though they're not the most breathable, they still don't wear like a really hot shoe. But they're a classic 90s aesthetic. These scream 90s, especially when you get bright colors like this, because the early 90s were all about the teals and the bright blues and the purples and the yellows, and here we have crimson, you know, bright pinks, things like that. They really work. They really work. Even today, they'll never go out of style. You want a great 90s look, go with the Air Huarachi. Coming in at number 6 from 1996, this man hit the scene hard. He is the president of basketball operations at Reebok. We're talking about Allen Iverson. We're talking about the Reebok Question. This is the Question Low. So originally I had the blue suede low top. They were called the blue toes, white silhouette with the blue suede. These are actually older than I thought. On live stream the other day, I think they're like 07, 08. These are actually like 04, the manufacture date for these. Like, these are almost unwearable. Like, they're the polyurethane insole and everything's falling apart. The foam, everything's falling apart. This is actually real Hexalite. That's why it's cloudy. This is back when there was still real Hexalite in this shoe. And you know how long it took to get this milky color to brown a little bit? Because these were clear soles. You have the matching color here. But you know how long it took Nike? Take cues, because it took 20 years for this to happen. For them to get even that yellow. You can turn an icy sole from Nike yellow like that in 1 year. Easy if you wear them. But everything yellowed over time. They're patinted gray patent leather. You can see the Hexalite through the bottom. These are iconic. I've had the black and gold mid-tops. I've had the pearl blue toe mid-tops. You know, famously known Allen Iverson for crossing Michael Jordan up in his rookie year, wearing the Reebok Questions. This was his first signature shoe. These are still relevant. Every year they drop new colors and re-release original colors of the low tops, of the mid tops, player exclusives, collaborations. This is iconic. This will never go away. This, in my opinion, is the greatest Reebok shoe of all time. To me, personally, nostalgic ties, because I was a big AI fan. I had the Answer, the original. I had the Answer 4 multiple times throughout the years. I've had the low top, the mid top. I've had the clogs, the laceless ones. I've had the Answer 7, and so on. I'm an Iverson guy. And this is some plush premium leather. I would like to get a newer pair. It's just going to be a disappointment after having this premium stuff that I actually bought from a shoe department. You know the store, the shoe department? In the Southland Mall, back when it was a decent mall in Houma, Louisiana, where I'm from, 20 years ago. I bought these on sale for like 40 bucks or something like that. They have stood the test of time. They're basically a collectible right now. They're almost unwearable. I don't have sole separation, but the polyurethane crash pad insole, this they had good insoles plus Hexalite. Crazy comfortable. They look good with everything. They look good with everything. You name it. They'll work with some nice khaki chinos if you really want them to. Iconic 90s style that you can get them any given Sunday, any day of the week, all over the place on the internet, in stores, on sale, at retail, fresh releases, you name it, you got it. True 90s is the Reebok Question. Coming in number 5 is such a big, bulky Air Max shoe that's closely tied to Scottie Pippen, most notably. This is a modern colorway, though. The Olympic colorway just re-released for the 1000th time here in the last month. We are talking about the 96 Air More Uptempo. This is the Cobalt Bliss colorway. Big, loud stuff right here. Very much like a university blue. They're calling it a cobalt blue, but very much a university blue kind of thing. Says Air. Really freaking big on both sides. You have a big stitched check. There's advertising everywhere. A jeweled check. Now, this was the heyday of the jeweled check. This is around the time when Tiger Woods hit the scene and his logo had the jeweled check. I remember the collegiate Nike hats for like Tennessee, LSU, all the main colleges had the big black sewn-on leather patch with a big team-colored jeweled Nike check. Anybody my age, you remember the era of the jeweled Nike check. They were doing it on the shoes, the clothing, the hats, the accessories. There was a time, and this was one that was leading the charge, because this was 96. 96, 97, 98 was that jeweled Nike logo era. Has a speed lacing system. You can literally pull up from here, and it'll tighten everything. You have some nylon elastic, more elastic than anything. I don't know why I said nylon straps. They kind of house everything for the lacing system, so they are a little stretchy. And you can see kind of that iridescence to this cobalt bliss blue colorway that they have, and they're black and white. They're a nice Durabuck. I got these not that long ago. I have a few colors of these. I felt this was the most neutral of them. I have some loud colors of this. I have 2 other pairs, but you don't even feel that max bag. So you have an Air Max unit, 360 Max unit going all the way around with a pretty dense EVA foam. They're okay as far as comfort. I mean, they're clunky. People used to hoop it up in these. You know what I mean? Like I said, most famously, Scottie Pippen was rocking these before he had the Air Pippen line. this was kind of like his unofficial signature shoe. And they are 90s style. They never get old. The iconic black and white, the white and black, the Olympics, and then they have a slew of other colors that have come out since. They'll never go out of style. There's only a select group of people, probably most people my age, that even dig shoes like this because it's very loud. It's very in your face, which makes it very iconic 90s. That if you want that look, you want to take a trip down memory lane, rock these in the modern day because they still work. They're big. You like the bulky shoes? This is one of the greatest bulky shoes ever. It's the Air 96 More Uptempo. Coming in at number 4, this came out in the latter portion of the 90s. I believe 98 was when this version 2 of this iconic like flagship sneaker from New Balance came out. I've been on a very big New Balance kick as of late, and here we are talking about the New Balance 990 V2. So here you can see jeweled logo, shows they have the absorb cushioning throughout. You actually can see that written in this jewel over here. As we come around, it's actually pretty thick foam here on the gray parts. The absorb is this white section, so you can see it named right there. It's a little bit more on the squishy side of things. Piece of plastic here adds some rigidity. This is made in the USA. Pretty stiff heel cup. I believe like that's some TPU in there, so it's got a pretty stiff heel cup. All premium materials here, thick cuts of the pig suede that they like to use. I mean, it is buttery smooth with like this ballistic nylon type of look. More black suede panels, leather in. You can lace them however you would like. I love how you can lace them low. Made in the USA, New Balance 990. Super buttery soft nubuck tongue instead of the suede panels that we have going around. My. Then we have some more navy blue-ish type of leather panels. Let me get that to focus. Black leather right here. The laces are actually of a decent quality. There is some strapping to the tongue, so it's a semi-boot kind of style. So it actually does kind of wrap the foot about mid-foot down. So you can actually wear the laces loose like this, like I have them. And then decent pillowing for the Achilles. But one of the biggest things here, yes, they have their absorb cushioning, but they have a fantastic Ortholite insole that come in these for some great step-in comfort. Made for New Balance. It's a pretty squishy, fluffy type of foam. I'm sure it'll bottom out rather quickly over time, but the initial step-in comfort with the arch support is actually really good. And you want to talk about in, New Balance is in, all right? Especially the 990. It's a subculture within New Balance itself collecting the 990s. Especially the V3 and the V6 seem to be the most popular. V4, V5 kind of have their thing, but I like the V2. I do. I'm wrong, the V3 and the V6 I think are the best too. But the V2, underappreciated because it's such a 90s aesthetic. That's the biggest thing for me. That's why it's in this video in the first place. And like I said, with New Balance's resurgence, kind of the rise of New Balance as of late, they've been around many decades, but they've never been more popular than they are currently as a lifestyle shoe, not counting their tech running stuff with their fuel cell foams. Just New Balance, they are absolutely killing the game. And if you want premium products for your money, like these premium cuts of suede, these look great with jeans, joggers, shorts, whatever. Some nice chinos. New Balance 990 V2. In at number 3 is going to be a little controversial because some of you are going to be like, nah, them ain't it. And then some of you are going to be like, ho, I'm so glad you put the foams on there because the foams are tough. The Foamposite One from Nike. So the Foamposite Pro, where you have the large check in the side, I do have some of those models as well. I didn't bother with it, but here you can see you have the big clear outsole. It's got its dirty spots. Big carbon fiber shank plate. Filled molded EVA foam shell. Colored in this is the metallic red. You have some tumbled leather going around with the 1 cent logo. Penny's technically signature shoe, but kind of not really at the same time. You know, got the 1 cent logo right here in red on the jewel. These are just beautiful, man. You can rock them unlaced. And, man, the best part about these, because you won't be able to see it if I pull the insole, but they are full-length Zoom Air. Even though the break-in period can be a bit much for some, because if you go true to size, they're going to be a little snug on the metatarsals and the midfoot and everything, because it's designed to mold to your foot. It's a foam encasing, so it needs heat, needs to warm up, you need to wear them, and it will mold to the shape of your foot and be a true custom one-to-one bespoke fit. If you do that. If you don't want to bother, you can go up half a size. These are a half size up at a 9. I do have several in the 8.5. Hell, if I really wanted to, I've tried on some 8s. They're not that damn bad. They're a little snug. Just would have to break them in a bit. But 8.5 being my true size. In foams, I have been going with 9s as of late because I don't wear them enough to break them in because I have so many different shoes and the different styles that I'm wanting to rock, that if I had less shoes, let's say you had 10 pairs in your rotation, you would get to the foams a bit more. You could break them in and mold them to your foot. I would encourage that guy to go true to size, but anybody with a larger shoe collection, probably go up to half a size and just enjoy every time you wear them. You don't have to worry about foot fatigue and it hurting a little bit after a while, because after a few hours it'll start to hurt if they're not broken in yet. But this is a controversial pick. Some people think these are so ugly. I've never thought that. Even in 97 when the Royals came out, and at the recording of this, the Royal 97 original colorway is retroing here in a few months at the recording of this. I'm probably going to get them. I've been telling myself I'm not, but I probably am. Who am I kidding? How do you not get the originals? I've passed on them in the past, but why not? But I decided to showcase the metallic reds as it's my second newest pair. I did get the Dr. Dooms recently. I've got the University Blues, the Sequoia Pros. I've got the Penny PE. I'm forgetting some. I got a few pairs of foam. Point being, I like foam. So naturally, when we're talking about 90s heat that you can still rock today and they look badass, of course, we're going to include some Foamposites if it's my channel and my video, in my opinion. You may not agree, but some of you will, because you want to talk iconic for the 90s that still work. They're going through a resurgence right now, too. They've been dropping a lot of colors. The Foamposite One. Coming in number 2, I believe these came out in 1990, if I remember correctly. You want to talk about hype beast, the Ronnie Fieg collabs, and just plethora of colorways. The Asics Gel Lyte III. Oh man, do these look good with literally everything. They're great summer shoes with shorts. They're great with joggers. They're great with jeans. They're great in general. Outsole, the iconic split tongue design. So cool. They look kind of weird if you don't have them to where they're tied to where it closes all the way up to me. Maybe it's an OCD thing, but I'm one of the people that likes the tongue closed. They fit very well. It is a very squishy, bouncy type of foam. Asics gel pad in the heel, if I remember correctly, and they do have a decent insole. It's nothing special. It feels like a cheaper polyurethane, not really an EVA foam, but it's dense enough that it's got some decent step-in comfort. Here you can see the Strobel as well. I believe it feels like a gel pack right here in the heel. And it says gel right here on the back. This is the vanilla black colorway with orchid colored laces. It's an orchid pink hue. Very neutral, pale colorway that really work with a lot. It's much more neutral than even it looks right now when you start throwing it on with different things. Camo joggers, jeans, different color pants, different color shorts and outfits. It's actually quite neutral because it's very much close to a khaki neutral type of colorway. These are super versatile, super comfortable. They've had a mega resurgence in the last, I would say, 15 years. Maybe even a little bit longer than that. People love the Asics Gel Lyte. There's people that have entire collections of these. There's a subculture for this shoe. I think it's one of the best shoes you can rock in modern day that is such a 90s aesthetic that'll never go away. I think in 20 years, we'll still be talking about how this is just such an awesome silhouette that never gets old. You can get them for a really good price. There's so many out there. You can look online and get a ton of different colorways, anywhere from like $50, $60, $70 on up to there's some Ronnie Fieg kit collaborations and stuff that are like thousands of dollars. So there's something for everybody in between with different materials. You got quality suede here, for example, with some nylon textiles. I have some with flannel. There's meshes. There's so many great options, from colorways to material combinations and collaborations. If you're looking for an iconic 1990s release, that here we are in 2024, and I can say it's number 2 on the list, the Asics Gel Lyte III goes hard. And finally, at number 1, if you were paying attention to the thumbnail, they were on my feet. The Nike Air Max 90. So, some people probably assume this just from the title alone, let alone seeing this is the Panda colorway, by the way, white and black, super versatile white and black. I mean, come on. The Air Max 90. What says timeless 90s sneaker more than the most timeless 90s sneaker? Waffle outsole, visible air unit, polyurethane midsole, decent stepping comfort on the insole, that iconic rear. That rubber panel that says Nike Air is so iconic to me. Then the aesthetic to this. I love getting the nylon panels because they don't crease as easy. Sure, your leather on the sides will crease, but when you get the ones that are the nylon toe, there's no creasing. They're not leather. Just depending on how hard you are on your shoes, you'll get creasing spots in the medial and lateral side. But the iconic Nike Air Max patch, somewhat fluffy nylon tongue filled with foam. Just beautiful. Medial side, you have that rubber Air Max panel, the Nike check hanging around. This is a black Durabuck panel going around the rand on both sides. There you have that Air Max rubberized panel again, more of that nylon textile. These are just so good. Speaking of collabs, endless colorways, materials, premiums, hyperfuses, fly knits. I mean, they've done it all with the Air Max. They have big bubble retros. They have the modern ones with the smaller bubbles. Goes with everything. One of the greatest everyday sneakers money can buy is the Air Max 90. You want to talk, I mentioned subcultures for a few different shoes in this list. They have an Air Max Day. This is so celebrated. No, it wasn't the first Air Max, but it's, and I'll say it here and now, even though it's an opinion, it's a strong opinion that a lot are going to agree with. It's the greatest Air Max of all time. The 95s, the 97s, the Air Max 1s, they're great. They're great. Modern interpretations, they're great. Air Max Plus, underrated. Tuned Air, phenomenal. There's many great Air Max silhouettes that have come out over the years, but none of them can touch this. This forever and ever should be number 1 in a list topic like this. You want 90s heat that'll be good in every decade? This will always be the best 90s shoe in my opinion. The Air Max 90. Well, that was my list. A rather longer video because I'm not the type when it comes to creating content where I'm going to hit you with 2 sentences and move on. I'm going to give you what I think. I'm going to give you my thoughts. Any of you coming from my fragrance channel, you already know that. My videos run a little long sometimes. So I appreciate all of you that hung with me the whole way through. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe before you leave this video. Let me know what 90s shoe did I leave out that you're a huge fan of. Obviously, this wasn't the only 10 that could have been in this video. This was just the 10 that I felt deserved it from my personal collection. That's my opinion, right? Catch you on the next one.